Tessin was trying to do is to say that, listen, Rahul Gandhi gets criticized. Let me tell you, I've headed parts of many organizations. A leader must need to take the criticism. It's okay. I mean, to me, if CNN is criticizing Rahul or NDTV is criticizing Rahul, it is because you're relevant, you're important in the political space. Otherwise,
you
people
are
would
a
not
power
discuss
center.
it.
Now, Rahul Gandhi wouldn't be criticized if he wasn't the important power center in the Congress party, even if he's not the president today.
Yeah, exactly my point. That, end of day, I think it's the media, and, a lot of people criticize the media, and I know there are many faults with the media. I'm not going to run away from that reality. But the fact that Rahul Gandhi and the Congress are still a topic of such animated discussion should also tell the party that there are people hoping for the Congress party to rise and fight back.
In fact,
India cannot become a one-party democracy.
No,
and there are
I was going to come to that exactly, Sanjay. But before that, I wanted to ask you a question. You said Rahul Gandhi needs to be smarter to not be controlled by these entrepreneurs around him. But the same issue has been raised multiple times. Two things. One, he's a non-serious politician. So you can't always depend on him. The Congress leadership itself cannot always depend on him. He comes and goes. His foreign trips are often talked about. So not a 24/7 politician. That is one thing. Always a consistent criticism of him. The second is that he's being controlled by this coterie. Now, if it's been nearly 10 years and you haven't been able to get out of that, you haven't been able to grow out of that, what's the answer then? The answer, should it not be to look beyond Rahul Gandhi?
Well, I have a very simple thumb rule based on my corporate and political experience. If you find the kitchen too hot, step out of it. Simple. And leadership is not everybody's cup of tea or coffee. It's a tough job. You got to firstly know what you're saying. You got to be a great communicator, hopefully bilingual. You got to lead a team of people whom you trust. You also got to listen to people whom you don't possibly like, but they are part of the team. You can't ignore them. Then you got to have strategy. You got to know how to raise funds. You got to know how to understand your data. You also got to know how to campaign and travel all over the country. It's a tough job. And therefore, I believe, leadership is an exceptional challenge. And if Rahul is not measuring up to it, I have always said it, and I say so despite the fact that I like him personally enormously, that Rahul should have just taken a break from leadership. I hope he does even in the September election, and let a Sachin Pilot and a Priyanka Gandhi combination lead the Congress. I have been tired of saying it. I've said it to people within the party. I've written columns saying Priyanka Gandhi will keep the loyalists and the cadres motivated that the Gandhi is still a centrifugal force. Give us Sachin Pilot, a young man, dynamic, hardworking, ambitious, great communicator. Give him a chance.
The worst thing is that this Azad resignation, Jaivi leaving, is coming even as we're all looking forward to that election within the Congress party for the next president. So they're not even waiting for that process to get over. It just goes on to show that they have no hope.
Well, let me tell you, how does this sound when media reports tell you that Mrs. Gandhi has said to Mr. Gehlot, please take over? How does it sound? That there is an election on, and there is a report that says that Mr. Gehlot has been asked to take over. Yes. So is this entire election a sham or what? I mean, that is the problem. Yes. I believe that today, if we had a presidential system and, people could fight for Congress president, I think a Manish, a Sachin Pilot, a Shashi Tharoor, I'll be very honest, I would have put my hat in the ring as well. Well, you put an ideology, you put your philosophy, you tell what you're going to do if you become the president of the party and pitch for it. But unfortunately, we can't do that. None of us, unfortunately, can do it on our own.
Yeah, and this is why when Tessin, unfortunately, he's not with us now, so I don't want to drag him, but this is what Tessin was saying, that why didn't you, take over the leadership or put your hat in? The reality is in Congress, you cannot do it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real tragedy. I'll tell you what, I'll be very honest, I haven't said it to any TV channel. If I wasn't suspended, and I would have loved to throw my hat in the ring, if nothing else, to tell people that there is an alternate philosophy. And I'm not dynastic. I have no corruption charges against me. I pay all my taxes on time. And I'm a very passionate believer in Congress's ideology. I'm sure there are many people like me in the Congress who would love to say, well, why don't I fight?
Yeah.
But this is the problem. This is the problem. And the Congress has to figure out an answer.
And, finally, Sanjay Jha, I do want to ask you. Now, the media may get criticized, whatever you may say for the BJP and the opposition on the attacks on Rahul Gandhi. They also come because of the failures surrounding him. But it is a problem that the principal opposition party in the country to the BJP is just disintegrating month after month, if not day after day. That is the problem for everybody. And the media also often talks about it, because if the Congress keeps disintegrating like this, doesn't put up a front, a cohesive front, alone or otherwise, with other parties to the BJP, it is a problem for our democracy.
Yeah, it is. And can I answer you? And I'll tell you something else. I believe one of the reasons why Rahul Gandhi has struggled to resurrect the Congress is because he just doesn't engage with the media. You know, I'm being very frank with you. I have said it in internal conversations. You can't be the leader of a party and call it go the media. You know what? Media will have views. Some will be ideologically left of center, right of center. I can understand that. But, you know, as a leader, you have a platform. I mean, I could have said, you know, I'm not going to go on CNN because I've got something else to do. But because I'm speaking with you, whether people agree or they don't agree with me, at least they're hearing my viewpoint. And I always believe that Rahul Gandhi, if he were to engage with everyone, an NDTV, a CNN, a Times Now, an Aaj Tak, an ABP, India Today, NewsX, engage with people. People hear you. That's what politics is all about. You know, Democrats go to Fox News and Republicans go to CNN and MSNBC. But that politics is about engagement.
Yeah, fight for your ideology, right? You cannot expect it will be smooth sailing. You'll have to fight for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me tell you something. I feel that the media has got every right to question the Congress for being so sloppy in a fight back. I mean, I always believe that the government is going to get away with murder. The BJP is having a walk in the park because the Congress has made it easy. Simple.
And other parties have benefited. It's not like there are not other regional parties that have not managed to give the BJP a fight. So, of course, there is the ground and the electoral reality. But, okay, I come back to the question internally, Sanjay Jha. Do you expect that there will be more after Azad of his ilk in the Congress party? Old guard, senior leadership, the Congress may call them frustrated today. They may call them, you know, people who have been ungrateful. Do you think that there will be more exits?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll prefer an exit rather than having people who are demoralized and demotivated within. And, you know, end of day, let me tell you, it's a message, right? Mr. Azad leaving is a message to the entire Congress party, organization, cadres. So stop saying that it's okay, it's no big deal. I do hope all my friends in the Congress do not come on television today and say, you know what, Mr. Azad ultimately became a turncoat and he's joining some other party, etc. I'm telling you, when anyone leaves your organization, you should worry, why are they leaving? I have never supported Rahul's statements that people who leave us because they have no ideological commitment.
They don't have a stomach for a fight. That's what they say.
You need people to fight. An organization is not an abstraction, you know, you're not just bricks and mortar, you're people. When you lose people, you lose your party. A certain pulse of your party is gone. The soul becomes weaker. And I don't think this attitude that anyone who leaves